Welcome back to another episode of Matchday Mind. Before we get into today's episode, if you're watching on YouTube, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. If you're on Spotify or any other podcast platform, rate us 5 stars only, please. It really helps the channel out and helps us make more content. As you can see to my side, my companion, my right-hand side man, Kieran. How are you
Yo, how's
feeling?
it going? Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Um, Definitely feeling a lot better after the
After your
previous
cry.
weekend. Yeah, after the last weekend. Again, dominant week in Europe for the English teams. Can't really ask for much more.
Dominant
Um,
3-2 win, by the way.
Again, it's more where the English teams have won. Finished in Europe and in especially in the Champions League. I mean, 5 teams in the top 8 and then one just outside it. It's pretty good. It's pretty good going.
Yeah,
Um,
we're not letting you run away from the fact that the mighty United Carrick's crackheads did demolish the arse.
yeah, yeah. What can I say? What can I say? Fair play. Um, the one thing I would say is it's the spark that we needed to go through to the rest of the season. So thank you very much, Manchester United, for giving us a wake up call and giving the team a wake up call, because I feel like the team were kind of just cruising their way to victory. And now they really need to switch up their game and actually think, okay, if we're going to win this, we need to actually, or if we're going to actually win any silverware this season, we're going to need to step it up a bit. Um,
Well, I mean,
which
you
is the
hadn't won
intense
you hadn't won a game in what, 2 games since that
three, I
United
think.
defeat.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Um,
you guys are just
yeah.
the wheels are falling off.
I don't think it's the wheels have fallen off. I don't think it's that bad. I think it's a case of just the intensity just sort of dropped a bit.
It's
Just
because your
because of
attack
how.
stinks. I said this.
No,
I
nah.
said your team's not as good as it was 2 seasons ago.
I mean, we've also got Havertz back now as well.
Yeah,
I, I, I will say as well, like I don't think Odegaard is as good. Well, he definitely isn't as good as he was 2 seasons ago, or even last season. Like he's massively dropped off in terms of form. I don't know what that could be and what's going on with him, but he needs to sort it out at some point. He can't just keep starting for Arsenal. But yeah, how was your midweek European game anyway? Oh, sorry, I forgot. You guys didn't qualify.
oh,
Um,
sorry, we won it twice before.
anyway,
That's what I thought.
huh?
That's what I thought, mate.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll we'll let you have some rest. I mean, you got a big game this weekend. Who do Arsenal got?
We ain't got a big game this weekend. We got Leeds.
Tough, man. I don't know. It's not an easy game. Leeds aren't easy this half.
No, to be fair, they have had an all right half of the season. Since they changed up their formation and tactics, they've actually been all right. Um, but I still think we've got enough for Daniel Farker.
Where is it at?
Um,
Is it at Ellen Road?
I think it is.
Yeah, it's another draw incoming.
Yeah, at Ellen Road.
But say Arteta doesn't win you the league this season.
Hmm.
What questions need to be asked?
I'm not sure. It all depends on if we go completely trophyless this season. It really does, and if we just it's so circumstantial. Like if we go out with a complete whimper and we fall off, we don't, Man City overtake us now, and we don't push them to to the title, for example. then I'm sorry, mate, but there's the door. See you later.
Mm.
Um, but like, I feel like if we go all the way to the wire again, and we end up competing on more than just the Premier League level, and we go off and potentially win the FA Cup, win the Carabao Cup, and make the Champions League final, potentially winning that, and then we fall short of the Premier League, then I think that's a little bit different. The circumstances are slightly different, and you got to look at it and say, well, he's more focused on the other competitions, etc. And I think it's very circumstantial where we sit with it, and I think it's too early to start asking those questions. Really,
It's been 6 years. I think it's plenty of time.
I mean, as in this season, because we don't know what the questions are going to be come the end of the season. Um,
Why didn't you win any trophies? That's the question.
that's the thing. We don't know if we're going to win trophies. We don't know if we're not going to win trophies. We don't know how many trophies we're going to win. I mean, it's so
No, but that's
it's
why
it's
I
all
asked.
pie in the
Say
sky.
you go trophyless, what questions need to be asked?
Now, you said if we don't win the Premier League, but if we
But
go
you know what I
complete
mean.
if we go completely trophyless, then yeah, I'm sorry, that's just not good enough. Um,
Say say you only win FA Cup and Carabao, and
mm,
Luis Enrique's available in the summer. Are you just saying, yeah, get him in?
no,
No.
because you break a system that supposedly works, and you take a big gamble, um, to try and bring in a whole new system, because what Arteta's built in terms of the team and everything, it might not work out for another manager. Yeah, fair enough. It might, as far it hasn't fully worked out for Arteta, but it could be worse for other managers. You know what I mean? Like, we could go from competing to struggling to get top four, and that's the risk you have with changing the manager. Um, Fair enough. If you're struggling to get top four anyway, then realistically, it's not really that much of a problem. But when you're at the top level, it's fine margins. It's very very fine.
I know
You
what
know,
you mean by risk, but I mean Arteta's already set the foundation there. Well, I'm not even giving Arteta any credit. The club set the foundation there of signing their players. There's a defensive unit there, but attacking wise, you're mid-table for attack. Like your guys don't score
yeah, and
goals.
and I think that is going to change. I really do. I don't think we're going to be as passive. I mean, there was a conversation. Well, sorry, not conversation, but an interview that came out, um, a couple of days ago, just before we played, whoever we played in the Champions League. I can't remember their team.
Haravat or
Um,
whatever his name is.
yeah, whatever. Whoever finished bottom of the Champions League, those guys. Um, anyway, there was a conversation that was, an interview that was had with Arteta, a press conference, prior to that game, on Tuesday, and he was saying that, in 4 months, where do you want to be? Like, you've got to look back on it. You've got to push hard. You've got to, and I think it's more. He's done what he can off the pitch. I think it's down to the players now to do their part, and sort of, obviously it's up to the manager to inspire, but I think Arteta's done his bit now. It's time for some reaction on the pitch. It's time for us to start really taking this league by the jugular, and just go for it, and don't look back. Like, realistically, I think this Man City side isn't, um, what they used to be. I think the league is 100% gettable this season. More than just the league as well is definitely gettable, especially with our, um, record this season so far in the Champions League. Everything's it's all up to us. Like, we are our worst enemy. We will be our downfall. It's not that Man City are going to go on a run, because honestly, I've got more of a chance of going on a run than this Man City side at the end of the day, and we both know how often that happens. So, I think it's a case of, we've just got to lock in. We really do. Like, it's just a case. There's a little bit of nerves going around the camp at the moment. People are players are sort of wondering, okay, do we really have the ability to do this? Can we keep it up? I think it's just, Arteta's done his job, reinforce the team. We go for it. We go forward. We win it. I'm
Do you
I'm
know what? Do you know what the issue is coming to surface now? It's defensively you're looking a little bit more shaky, and that was what was winning you games. Like you weren't necessarily like scoring too many goals, but you literally weren't conceding any, and that's why you're dropping points. Because look at your draws. You're not outscoring the opposition. Like you're conceding too many. Conceding three to United, let alone should be uh, the question
I
to ask.
mean, to to be completely honest, I mean, we're still not conceding that many chances. The two of the goals, well, one of the goal was, was an absolute gift to Manchester United, which
Mistakes. There you go.
yeah, it was a mistake, and it was an absolute gift. Fine, whatever. Mistakes happen. It's gonna, whatever. And then the other two, arguably goal of the season, um, for that second, well, for the third goal. Well, no, the second goal. And then the third goal, again, another wonder goal. Like, how often are those goals scored? Like on a general, like a real basis, how often across the season are those goals scored?
Well, not
Very
by
rarely.
Arsenal.
By any team, really. Like, they're very rarely scored. Um, I mean, just looking at Arsenal myself, the only time I can really sort of picture, remember us scoring like that, especially, twice in a game, was when we played against Real Madrid, when the occasion was as intense as it could possibly be. We went at, Declan Rice for those two free kicks. That is probably like that's the level of, that I'm putting those goals at. They were that good. They were so, like, completely inhuman strikes.
Well, yeah, the first one was just poor. I feel like Saliba and Gabriel were just dropping mistakes more and more often.
But it wasn't Saliba and Gabriel though.
No, but
It
like the whole
was,
game, like they
uh,
just weren't up to scratch. I
but I
think
feel like
Saliba
that's
is a
that.
liability out of the two, personally.
Nah, nah, I disagree. I think it's a case of, as I said, they just need to lock in. That is as simple as it is. They just need to lock in. They just need to stop fanning about. Honestly, bring up the intensity of the games. Try to get to that intense level that you can when you're at your best for these small games for the next 4 months, and we'll win it.
You remember when I said Odegaard shouldn't be the? Um, I was listening back to previous podcasts, like earlier doors when we did an Arsenal one, and
Mm.
I said Odegaard should not be the captain of the club. It should be someone else like Gabriel. I still stand by it. I don't think he's leader
Thing is,
quality.
I think this, as the season's gone on, that statement has started ringing more and more true across the whole Arsenal fan base.
Well, I'm never wrong. Whatever I say always comes correct.
Eh, with a grain of salt.
Never doubt
Um,
me.
I always doubt you. It's fine.
And I'm always proven right.
But yeah, I'm starting to believe that with how poor Odegaard's been, and yeah, I just don't think he should be starting at the moment. I really don't. And and as a result of that, I think, at least on the pitch, the captaincy should be taken off him.
Well, next season the armband should be moved.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I don't
Again,
think
things can change, but
those comparisons right could have came at a better time when was it Sky Sports that were like asking questions like who's better, Odegaard and Bruno, and then Bruno
mm,
just absolutely shit on Odegaard in his back garden. I thought, oh, perfect timing, honestly. Bruno Fernandes. Where would you put Bruno Fernandes in best players in the league?
currently, I think realistically, you have to say he makes the top 10. I don't think he makes top 5, but he makes top 10.
He's top two and he's not second.
Top 2? No, no chance.
Top two and he's not second.
He's probably like a 6 or a 7.
Who name 5 other players who's better than him?
Erling Haaland, Gabriel, Van Dijk, Mo Salah.
This
Um,
season,
yeah, but most you still say Mo Salah's a better player than he is.
I
Even though
disagree.
we haven't really seen Mo for the last 2 months because he's been at AFCON.
And he hadn't performed prior to that, whereas Bruno has. Even when he was struggling in the middle too, still providing. The fact of what, he's got like 15 goal contributions this season alone.
Yeah,
Come
I'm
on,
not
mate.
denying he is top quality, but I still think there are
Top
better
2,
than
not
him.
second. Bet you.
Definitely not top two. Definitely not top two.
Midfielders then, where does he rank? 1, surely.
Rice is better.
No.
Yeah,
I feel like Bruno can offer so much more. You look at their defensive stats, I bet Bruno's still above Rice.
I doubt it.
Let's see.
Yeah, we can have a look. We can have a look. Um, but yeah, I'd say Rice is better than Bruno, and then probably yeah, I can't think of many more that have been that great this season. I mean, Palmer's not been on it.
Yeah, Palmer has been poor.
Caicedo is probably like third best. Um, obviously, Rodri has been a liability. I actually saw a couple of videos from Man City fans turning around and actually saying like they don't want Rodri to start anymore because he's just such a liability, especially after the
Yeah, he has
game
been
midweek.
bad.
Yes, since he's come back from injury, he's not been great at all. They're better without him in the team. I think he's one of the players that come the summer he goes off to Saudi 100%.
I think he could just go back to Spain, really. I think if Real Madrid was smart, they would probably
Yeah,
just get someone in like that.
I don't think he does though. I think he goes off to Saudi, gets a big paycheck, and sort of retires out there.
I still think he's got a lot in him to offer. Sorry, I'm just trying to look at the defensive stats.
Mm.
Can't really find out. Regardless, but yeah, Bruno Fernandes best midfielder in the league, without doubt.
Disagree.
I think he does it forward and backwards. I feel like you would win the league easily if you had Bruno in your team.
I wouldn't deny that, but then you're looking at having two of the best midfielders in the league. Um, straight up, I mean, like, of course you're going to win the league if you've got two of the best players in the league in your team. You're quite likely to win it. You just look at Mo Salah, Van Dijk.
Oh, I wanted to ask you this question. Who's
Hmm.
been Arsenal's worst player?
Ooh, here's a good question. Honestly, I think Odegaard. I really do. I don't think he's been great at all. He's
Yeah,
it's coming to light now. I think Gyökeres provides more than Odegaard.
in terms of what?
Just whatever he does on the pitch, it's just
Yeah, no one knows what that is.
no one knows. You'll start to see, especially when he links up with Havertz. You'll see.
Yeah.
Um, I think up for contention as well would probably be Noni Madueke.
Hmm. Yeah, that wild shot he did in the Champions
Oh
League as well.
my god! You know those videos of how big does the goal need to be for
Yeah,
it to actually score?
yeah,
I mean, it was so off target. I could have shot that better.
that way.
I would have shot that better. You just know, like I would have shot that better. Fair enough, I wouldn't have got into that position to shoot, but
I would have
if I
scored.
was in that position to shoot, I would have shot it better
Yeah, yeah,
because that
Nonny.
was
Do you remember when I
absolutely
said? Do you
woeful.
remember when I said that was bad signing? Oh
Yeah,
my
and
god,
the
proven
whole
right yet
Arsenal,
again.
the whole Arsenal, fan base also agreed with that. Although I do want to say this though,
You
I
said it
think
was good for a
Noni is
backup.
yeah, he's good for a backup.
When I said it was 50 million, I said that was bad.
Yeah, so did
You were
I.
saying you said, and I quote, Arsenal recruited incredibly well that summer.
Yeah, we have recruited incredibly well. We got a back like we. I'm not saying the money paid was incredible, but the positions that we recruited were incredible. So we again, just repeating myself at this point, but yeah, we went back. We signed two defensive midfielders, which we needed because we let go of a two defensive midfielders. We needed a backup goalkeeper. We got Kepa, who's probably the best understudy goalkeeper in the league, maybe other than Man City. I think, yeah, Trafford is better, but you know, and then obviously we signed a striker, which at the start of the season looked to be one of the best signings of the season because of how we performed the previous seasons, and is what was the most informed striker of last season. That's why he won the Ballon d'Or. I can't remember what the award's called, but the Ballon d'Or award for it. Um, and then yeah, we got a backup for Saka, which we needed.
I think you needed a left wing. That seems like
Yeah,
your
but I think,
weakest position.
it is now. But I feel like if we didn't have a backup for Saka, then that would have been also our biggest sort of liability.
Because his hamstrings are looking like pulled pork shoulder in a slow cook for 6 hours. They're fucking deteriorating.
Yeah, but that's why we've got a backup for him so he can actually rest, right?
He's crap. No?
What, Noni?
Hmm.
Yeah, he's not as good, but he's not completely useless. Um, he is a young player. Like it happens with young players. Like they just need time to develop, and I think that will happen with Noni. I don't think he'll be a world beater, but I still think he's got to go ways to go before he starts putting in some kind of chances and scoring on a not regular basis, but you know at least threatening the goal every time he comes in, as opposed to shooting it completely wide.
Yeah. Anyway, enough about Arsenal. You guys aren't going to win the
Mm,
league. United are going to win it.
we'll win the league. Anyway,
No. United done it in 95. Newcastle were 12 points ahead. Kevin Keegan infamously said, I will love it if we beat them. And guess what? United won it.
you're not winning it.
So when Arteta comes out and then someone questions him, so do you fancy United's chances of winning the league this season? You're only 12 points ahead. And then he goes, oh, I think I would love it if we beat them. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, he's copying Emery's flow.
Nice. Maybe you should go up and ask Arteta that
Might
and
do.
get the interview, and then maybe it could happen.
Would you take Emery back at Arsenal?
No,
Why? He's an elite
it,
manager now.
no, he's a fucking goon.
He's gooning.
He's gooning. Yeah.
Good gooning.
No, he is not fit to be an Arsenal manager.
What if he wins the league with Aston Villa?
Still, I don't think I don't think he suits Arsenal as a club.
I think he just needed time, really.
Nah, the everything was toxic around him. Everything.
Yeah, now another club is in a better situation.
The club wasn't in a terrible spot when he took over, though.
Yeah, I would say you were. You just left your long-term manager. It was like the United situation. long-term manager steps down or gets sacked in your case, and then it's the first kind of big appointment.
Get sacked. He retired
Yeah, he got
in
sacked,
the
mate.
end. In
Got
the end,
forced out. He got forced out of the club, mate.
he was, yeah. The fans were on him.
Exactly. But yeah, I just feel like it was the wrong time to appoint him. I feel like it should have been uh, a stepping stone, Arteta first, and then an Emre, because I feel like he's an elite manager. I'll take him,
Go for it.
European pedigree.
Go for it.
No.
All
Anyway,
right.
speaking of theoreticals, I thought we could maneuver away from this season's Premier League. No fixtures in the future excite me. We should talk about football's biggest conspiracies. So we've gone away, we've done some research, and we've got some conspiracies we can talk about, debate, question each other on, argue, fight, kill. I'm joking. So more.
Mm.
So Kieran, what conspiracy do you want to start with?
Yeah, I mean, I was looking into this, right, and one thing that one conspiracy I think that sort of rings true around the majority of football. Um, whether you're in the Premier League, whether you're in Champions League, whether wherever you're in, is that I don't think it's about VAR, and it was brought in as this. It's to protect football. It's to ensure that we get the right decisions and all this sort of stuff. But realistically, I think VAR is really only there to protect referees as opposed to protecting, you know, the integrity of football and the integrity of the competition. I think it definitely takes away from the old-fashioned feel of the game. With all these pauses, with all this, nonsense that goes on in the background, and at the end of the day, it's there to protect the refs. It's not protecting the game at all. Like, yeah, fair enough. Every so often, it might make a right decision, but the amount of times that we're seeing these incorrect decisions, and you've got referees like Howard Webb who just completely back it to the girls. They're not questioning it at all. They're just sort of, yeah, 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 no, this is fine. And then 2 weeks later, oh no, no, that's not fine. But 2 weeks ago
It's
you
like
said
the,
that
it's
was,
the it's the apologising like a week later saying they got it wrong.
yeah, or that as well, which they hardly ever do. I'm gonna be completely honest. Majority of the time, they'll just contradict themselves 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah, I mean,
your conspiracy is VAR is only there to support poor refereeing or backing the refs' decisions, not
yeah,
actually
backing the ref's decision,
fixing the football.
it doesn't help football. It really doesn't.
Mm, it could be that it's to stop biased referees, because like
What?
Michael
And just
Oliver
like,
being a Newcastle fan.
yeah, he's still not allowed to referee any Newcastle games.
Mm. But would if say if he does, and VAR turns over, the referee still has a final decision, no?
I mean, we saw it a couple of weeks ago, to be honest, and a referee on field can reject the decision from VAR.
Yeah, and say Michael Oliver could do that in a Newcastle game.
Hmm. Which, by the way, that was an incredible moment, wasn't it? I
Or
think that's the first time we've ever seen a referee reject the decision from VAR.
in the Premier League anyway. It's happened in another league.
Yeah, 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 in the Premier League, and I mean,
Seen it in the
fair
Baller
play to
League.
it. Yeah, but fair play to it. I mean, it's completely justified.
Mm,
Looking back on that decision, I don't know what VAR was thinking. I'm actually quite glad that he, you know, went ahead and rejected them and said no, because
yeah.
it was a bonkers decision.
So just to summarize, VAR is only implemented by the PGMOL to defend biased referees.
Mhm. Well,
Nice.
not bias, but protect referees from making, when they're making stupid, nutty mistakes.
Biased referees.
Stupid referees.
For my conspiracy, I went back in time. I
Oh
thought,
God.
let's relive some good years. It's United related.
Hmm.
There was big, George Mendes, the super agent,
Yes. Yeah.
Portuguese. There was a conspiracy floating around a couple of years ago that Bebe, a Portuguese player, was bought by Manchester United as a favour for George Mendes at an inflated price. So in 2010, it was a World Cup year. Nani was injured per se, but he was actually reported using illegal substances. Mendes caught wind that he was going to get tested, Nani. Um, so George Mendes alerted United for Ferguson to tell him to pull him from the Portuguese squad. So he didn't get tested. So he obviously escaped the testing. So he wouldn't have been found doping. Um, Ferguson was very appreciative of this. Otherwise, he would have had Nani banned, maybe even like lost his contract, etc. So as a thank you, he bought Bebe at an inflated price. So Mendes got a nice commission from it. What do you reckon? Do you reckon that's believable?
I mean, with how dodgy the dealings were back in the day, it's. I mean, it's not too far fetched, right? It's it's
Yeah,
it, it's not too beyond the worlds of like possibilities. You do me a favor, I'll do you a favor. Vice versa, and it's kind of like tit for tat kind of thing,
because
but in
there
a good
was
way.
rumours that Ferguson approved the purchase of Bebe without even watching him. So that was
Mm,
that was the original question marks. Is you haven't even seen this guy play, and you're signing him. And what's the most like under the radar thing you could do is buy quote unquote prospect Portuguese winger without any
yeah.
like question marks asked. To be honest, it's like why are you buying this guy? But yeah, but it goes to show: are there any more signings that had been made in the past or currently to benefit agents? I.e., there was like a lot of rumors that when Ten Hag was in charge, he would only sign players from his agency, the SEG agency. That's
Mm,
why Hoyland came through,
yeah.
and we paid a massive fee for him and Onana, etc.
Yeah.
Any one staff and player wise under the SEG agency, Ten Hag would only want to sign.
I mean,
So
you do see it with like clubs themselves as opposed to managers buying players and forcing their managers to use those players. And again, managers will probably instill the same thing, and there's probably a whole scouting network built upon these agents and everything that you know as a favor you have to buy this player and we will give you this information, or we'll allow you to sit down at the table to negotiate a deal for this player, etc., etc. um and I mean, again, you look back on when Edu was at Arsenal. um he would only sign. The reason we have a lot of had and have a lot of Brazilian players in our team, especially over the
yeah,
last few years, was down to the links that Edu had, and he wasn't going anywhere else. And I feel like that's kind of like not blackmailing, but it's kind of like, if you go to another agent and negotiate this deal with this player, then business is over, kind of thing. You know what I mean? And to keep people happy, you kind of have to sign certain players. Like, you could probably ask the same thing about what was he called? I can't remember his name now. The Brazilian right winger that we signed. Um,
Marquinhos.
mm, that's the one. You could probably say the same thing about Marquinhos.
Yeah,
It was such a strange signing. Why did we do it?
he never played for the club. benefit
No.
Edu's back pocket.
And again, you look at Austin Trusty. Trusty the process, right? Everyone was joking about it at the time, but
I think
we bought him
Kroenke
over.
get the benefits from that. Was that what it was?
Yeah. So there was some like weird like agreement between the owner of the club that he was at, um, and it basically meant if bought him, then they were able to do like a deal in the NFL, and then that happened, and then he came
Mm,
over to the UK, and then got loaned out to Birmingham, I think it was. It was such a
yeah.
strange, dodgy deal, but it
Mm,
happened. Um, and I think we only paid like what 5 million for him, and it helped the LA Rams in the NFL. And it was just really strange, like what happened and why it happened. I don't know the full details, to be completely honest. I don't really care too much, but yeah, I agree with you that it can potentially, it well, it's not out of the realms of possibility.
exactly. What else have you got?
Um, I mean, there's a bit of a touchy one, especially with Man City fans. I think Willow would be distraught about me saying this,
Don't trouble
but
him too much.
don't travel him too much. No, um, but I feel like the Premier League are currently purposely delaying the outcome of the 115 charges because I think they've realised
116.
the 116, but that they've realised how bad it could potentially be for firstly the integrity of the Premier League, and
Mm,
secondly, um, in terms of like competition wise, if you you know relegate one of the biggest teams at the moment in the league, who are constantly competing on a European front as well, if you relegate them to the second tier of English football, it's just going to have so many knock-on consequences, and they're going to lose so many like TV like sponsorships. They're going to lose so much revenue. They're going to lose. It's just realistically, is it worth them doing it? Um,
hmm.
and I feel like they're kind of just stalling it until everyone stops talking about it, and then it will just sort of get brushed under the carpet and moved on, and then
I
we'll
feel
just
like I feel like the Premier League needs United to be good again, so that United could be the face of the Premier League again, rather than City, and then they will strike.
bring back the big three. Bring back the big three. Come on,
Yeah, Liverpool, Chelsea, and United. I agree.
shut up.
Well, they're the big three, no? They're the most
No,
they're the most successful teams in the league.
no, they're not. How many Premier Leagues has Chelsea won?
6,
How many has Arsenal won?
2.
No, that's ludicrous. Who's the
I don't.
current? I suppose you are also joint, but who's won the most FA Cups?
That's nothing to do with Premier League.
But it's to do with who's the biggest club. I mean, it's Arsenal, Liverpool, Man United. We
How
need to bring back the
many?
big three.
Chelsea
Bit
have won 4 Premier Leagues. Arsenal have only won 3.
top flight
So
titles.
we're, we're talking about Premier League though.
Okay, how many have Man United won?
13. So we've won the league 20 times.
Hmm.
So how many
Yeah,
have
fair
Liverpool
enough.
won? 2. So therefore Arsenal do by default take them over.
Yeah.
Actually no,
But
because City there. I'm just kidding.
shut up. We don't talk about City.
No, we don't.
City are out of the equation in this conversation.
Yeah, so in theory, how bad would it affect the Premier League if City did get relegated? Probably not a lot because there aren't any fans. But financially, it's a possibility.
Mm.
But I mean, I feel like there's so much money in the Premier League now that every club's eventually going to be Saudi backed,
Yeah,
even down to like
but it,
Leeds. So
but you've also got to look at it and say, like, you know, how many brands potentially walk away from from the Premier League? Like, not sponsors of clubs, but sponsors of the Premier League if Man City are found as sort of guilty. Because, like, if they are found guilty of all 115 charges, let's just hypothetical here. They're found guilty of all 115 charges, they get relegated. You basically then can't show clips of Man City winning the title over that period of time. So basically 5 or 6 seasons, you physically cannot show footage of that ever again on TV because it's just completely null and void. And it will affect brands for doing that, and it would affect their sort of image. Oh,
yeah,
man, it has a knock-on effect on in that sense. And I think that hurts. It doesn't hurt the teams because, again, they've got their own backings and all that sort of stuff, but it hurts the TV revenue. It hurts the brands that invest into the league
mm,
itself, which is what makes the Premier League so great. Is that, fair enough, you've got the teams that have got a lot of money, but you've also got the whole league itself that brings in so much money. And that's not
okay,
just from day-to-day ticket sales. That's from, people watching from all across the world. People what, and you
yeah.
ruin that integrity. It has a knock-on effect in terms of, yeah, do we really
So
want to invest
so
into a
to
corrupt
really
organization?
punish, so to really punish City, the Premier League will hurt itself in doing
Yeah,
so.
exactly. Yeah.
Hence why they're delaying it so long. Because it's like,
Yeah.
oh, they probably found like the result, like, yeah, these guys are guilty, but if this airs out, we are also in the toilet. So it's
Mm,
just like either we ignorance is bliss, we just forget what happened, they carry on with what it is, or the Premier League takes the hit, and hope for the best.
yeah. You'll probably find in 20 years' time, nothing will be said about it, from the Premier League. They'll just completely they'll just play the fifth the entire time. And then 20 years later, they'll turn around and say, oh, yeah, when Man City eventually drop off, or if they do, if they do drop
Yeah,
off, it will then come out and be like, if they, let's just say in 20 years' time, they get relegated to the Championship naturally, they'll come out and go, oh, yeah, by the way, 115 charges are out now.
yeah,
And everyone's like, what? And at that point, it will just become irrelevant because no one will
mm,
really care.
agreed. Um, my next conspiracy is that Isak is a clone and he got kidnapped during preseason. Um, he forced a move from Newcastle because he was held ransom by the Etrians, where his heritage is from. So he got kidnapped, and they forced a move to Liverpool so they could benefit in the money side of things.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
it was a ploy by Everton to disrupt Liverpool's defense
Hmm.
title.
Hmm. Hmm.
It makes sense. Liverpool, like,
Yeah, 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 of course, of
he
course.
goes away from Newcastle. He goes away from Newcastle. You don't see him for a whole summer. He doesn't go for preseason and just randomly turns up at Liverpool one day.
Hmm. Yeah,
That makes sense.
yep.
The Etrians did it. They kidnapped him. He's a clone, hence why he's not scoring goals. It's just here's this Swedish striker, allegedly Isak.
It's Isak.
Isak?
Isak.
Kazakh.
Because he socks.
Yeah, he sucks. What do you think?
He socks.
It's feasible, no?
It's very believable. Do
The
you know what?
Newcastle.
I'm actually glad you brought this up because I was going to say almost the exact same thing, really.
Yeah.
Um, I, I do agree that it's yeah, what you said. Mm,
Hmm.
mm, yeah.
Newcastle. Think about it, right? Newcastle are known as the Magpies. A single magpie is sorrow, so it's bad luck.
Hmm.
So he
Hmm.
he went against the magpie And then this happened. He got kidnapped by the Etrians, where his heritage is from. They know Isaac's worth a lot of money. So they're like, right, let's see if we can get paid off this. They kidnap him, hold him ransom, and say, you need to leave Newcastle so we can make money. And then, why do you think Everton built a new stadium?
Yeah.
They got money from the Isaac deal.
Yep. Exactly. And they knew it was going to happen. That's why they started building it like 5 years before.
Exactly.
They had it all planned out when Isak was at
Borussia
Real
Dortmund.
Sociedad. Borussia Dortmund as well, yeah.
Yeah,
No, no. The plan all came together back at Borussia Dortmund. And then it was a
exactly.
bit of a spanner in the works when he went to Sociedad. And then he
Yeah,
finally got that big money move to Newcastle. And they were
yeah.
like, right, this is where we instill the plan now. And we go full speed ahead with it.
Or,
Or,
or, right, the other
hmm hmm
conspiracy is Mikel Arteta was wanting to build Sociedad past and present.
yes. Speaking of Mikel Arteta, one conspiracy theory about Mikel Arteta.
He had a hair transplant at 16.
No, very close about his hair though.
Okay.
His hair isn't real.
It's a
It's
hairpiece.
Lego.
Yeah.
It's Lego.
Oh yeah, Lego. Yeah.
It's
Clip that.
actually Lego made into to
Yeah.
look like real hair.
3D printed. He
3D printed.
scalped a Ken doll to put on his head.
Yeah, exactly that.
I
And
think they got a good pass.
Erling Haaland was raised in a lab. Test
Yes.
tube baby.
Erling Haaland is actually the Terminator.
Hmm.
He has been sent back in time to
Yep.
try defend City against 115 charges. And he said to Pep, he's like, come with me if you want to live. And Pep's gone, yes. Okay. Because it's Sky Net. There you go, Sky Sports, Sky Net.
Case closed. GG guys. See you next week.
Yeah.
Right.
On that note, if you've liked today's episode and today's content, please comment down below if you believe any conspiracy theory that we've said today. Make sure you follow all our socials down below, TikTok and Twitter, and subscribe on YouTube. Anything else from Kieran?
No, I think that's it. Obviously, as always, take care. Brush that Lego hair,
And
and
Arsenal smell.
we'll see you next time.